What a way to end the regular season for the Louisiana Raging Cajuns. A 31-30 win, a late field goal from Stevie Artigue sealed the deal. But mind you, he had a last-second field goal from Porter. It felt like deja vu all over again for the Warhawks.
It felt exactly like the game from last season where ULM misses the field goal towards the end of the game, and UL wins 31-28 last season. This game right here ended 31-30, almost similar score, similar fashion in the way it ended, but the Cajuns get the historic 10th win on the season, which is something that's never been done before in the history of the university, in program history. It's never been done. The Cajuns get their 10th win.
It's never happened before, and it felt like it would never happen, but it's so great to see this after all these years. I've been watching this program since I can remember, for a long, long time, well before I was a member of the media. I've seen the ups, I've seen the downs, seen this moment for a lot of these players, especially the seniors, because after all, it was senior night. We saw a lot of guys, including senior Stevie Artigue, came away with the eventual game winner. What a great moment for him. We talked about it during the post game. You know, he had his injury last season. I think this is probably just one of the crowning moments of the former Lafayette High Mighty Lions career. It's great to see him get that moment in the sun.
Did it feel like it was all just meant to be with everything that unfolded?
It always does.
It just feels like poetic in a way. That's how it feels. With the kicking woes that started the season, with Stevie Artigue's been through early in his career to where he is now, and how he capped off a historic season for the Raging Cajuns. Just all the similarities from last year to this year. It just felt like it was all poetic and it was all meant to be.
It was amazing to see how things went for the Louisiana Raging Cajuns. 10-2 on the year. And, you know, we brought up senior Stevie Artigue. We saw a lot of seniors get things done. Jacques Boudreau was out there playing like this was going to be his last game, regardless of what's going on next week in beautiful Boone, North Carolina. I think this is just absolutely fantastic to see when the seniors get things done. Bam Jackson, a big highlight. Obviously, the King Calais was pretty much an absolute beast. That 80-yard run towards the end of the first half was a real turning point. It felt like the Cajuns were going to try and pull away early in the second half, but those Warhawks, they were pesky and could not get away. Give credit to Matt Viator and crew.
Yeah, that second quarter was big for the Cajuns because they only came out of that first quarter with 40 total yards on offense.
Like, I think they had like -3 yards rushing or something along those lines.
That second quarter was big for the Raging Cajuns. You mentioned Jacques Boudreau. He was big on defense. One of my favorite quotes in that postgame by Napier was that Jacques Boudreau is one of his favorite players of all time. I mean, which, like, Napier has seen a lot of players, and for Jacques Boudreau to be his favorite player of all time, that says something.
Well, he's personally probably one of my favorite Cajun players of all time, just because of the name, Jacques Boudreau. He's not even from, like, the Acadian area. I think that's the best part of it all. Right here at Clint Doming with Louis Prejean, do a little Facebook Live recap what happened with the Cajuns, UL Monroe. And a lot of people may have been across the basin watching what was going on with LSU A&M.
Yeah.
A little bit of a relative snooze fest, but definitely an entertaining ball game nonetheless. But this was definitely the game I felt like more people should have been at. Only 14,000 once again. Do we really need to belabor the point that more people need to see this team play?
I'm not really interested.
I'm kind of getting tired of it.
I'm not interested in who's not showing up. I'm interested in who is showing up. And the fans that were here towards the end of the game, they were loud. They were impressive. Like Napier said after the game, they impacted the game for the Cajuns. And I'm not interested in who's not here. I'm interested in who's coming to the games and what they're doing when they come to the games. I'm done with the attendance talk. I think we're going to be done with the attendance talk after this week because it's the final home game of the regular season. And they'll be traveling to Boone, and then they'll have a bowl game. So I think we're going to be done with this attendance talk. For now, until the next season rears up. But I'm pretty done with it right now. So I'm not interested in talking about the attendance. I want to talk about the history that happened. I feel like this is really the Raging Cajuns' year.
It really is.
And they've done things that they have never done before. And looking forward to that App State game. Do they have an opportunity to do something they've never done before there? They've never beaten App State in their history.
Never beat them at the Rock. It's definitely something huge. But I think the bigger storyline from this game was something that I feel like a lot of people aren't talking about as much. Should we give the player of the game to the cheerleader that was ejected late in the ball game?
Okay, well, this is very great.
this is just like the
great
best
story because we love to dive into kind of theories and what ifs and what would happen, but it happened right in front of our eyes, and we noticed it, that this is a direct impact on the game, that the male cheerleader for UL was escorted out of the game, and that almost iced the kicker. Yeah, that iced the kicker to miss the extra point. And if ULM hits that extra point, it's a tie game, and we're going to overtime. It's beautiful how that unfolded. Is that what it is?
I'm trying to remember on it. Oh yeah, after the extra point. My bad.
Yeah, on the extra point.
I'm thinking about 200 different things right now because this game has been absolutely ridiculous.
The game was insane.
I was saying it. It was just possibly any. This is just something you can talk about when it comes to the Cajuns' last game of the year. Against Arkansas State in 2016. Last year against ULM. Heck, back in 2011, the first year of Mark Hudspeth, we had the wild and wacky finish against UL Monroe. We had the onside kick to help get a late field goal from Brett Bayer, one of the more shining moments of the early Hudspeth era that helped them kind of all but secure a bowl berth into the first of many New Orleans Bowls. Maybe just one more we see next in a couple weeks' time. We'll see what happens there. But there's a lot of things that we can talk about. And we're talking about cheerleader. Hypothetically, just chat me up on this.
Okay.
Hypothetically, since this happened in the second half, does that mean the cheerleader can't cheer for the first half of the Sun Belt title game?
Yeah, this is going to be a story that will unfold and that we'll be looking at.
We're talking to Sun Belt officials right now about it.
Because if the cheerleader is able to cheer in the game against App State or in the bowl game, do we need him to get escorted again for the Cajuns to pull out a victory? I don't know. I feel like there's this weird mojo, weird curse that's happening with the Cajuns because anything that happens is directly tied into success for the Cajuns. There's just so many wacky things that happen in this game. So many wacky things that I'm so happy you mentioned the cheerleader getting escorted.
How can we not bring that up? I feel like everybody's gonna be talking about it come Monday. I know you and Nick Fondo filling in for RB3. Y'all are gonna do a deep dive on.
I think we're doing full segment.
I think you'll need to get the cheerleader on the program.
Yeah, we're gonna
if the cheerleader is actually watching this Facebook Live, DM us and we'll get you on with them on RP3 company because this is a great story in general.
We don't know the whole story. We don't know what happened. Just kind of fun to talk about.
There's probably something that we can't say on the air about.
It's just fun to talk about in the moment. Other wacky things that happened. We remember ULM went forward on 4th and 8 on their first drive of the game. On the first drive of the game, and the wide receiver was wide open inside the red zone, and it just came off his hands, and it was intercepted by Braylon Trahan, and it was returned for over 40 yards, 40-yard interception return by Braylon Trahan there. So that set the tone for the game of what would happen later on. And then one of the Raging Cajuns players had a huge tackle, chased the ULM receiver down, and then they forced a field goal because otherwise that would have been a touchdown. I'm trying to recall everything that happened in this game, but it's really hard.
It's really hard, and we've had plenty of time to kind of break it down because we had plenty of time between the end of the game.
Yes,
because they broke out the cigars. I'm not sure if they were Cubans, but maybe
that's failure on our part. That's bad media practice that we did not ask.
Well, we waited almost a half hour for Napier, and then Napier was talking for quite some time. So it's you know what? I'm gonna let him celebrate a little bit more. Maybe I'm gonna get another stogie, and we can kind of get things going on a Louisiana Saturday night. I know he's getting ready to kind of start turning the page and moving forward to App State. I think the million-dollar question is: do the Cajuns get it done next week in Boone? Do you think early projection on your part? Where do you think this goes?
I've said it kind of towards the end of the stretch that the Cajuns are going to drop one game, but they didn't. They won 6 straight to close out the season, and I thought they would always drop one game. So I'm kind of leaning off towards doubting the Raging Cajuns. That's where I'm going. It's like I don't want to doubt the Raging Cajuns anymore. When you look at their season, they hadn't lost a game on the road. That App State loss early in the year was a 17-7 loss here at Cajun Field. So they're going to go on the road in Boone, where they've been excellent on the road. They've dominated games on the road.
The Rock's been a very tough place to play for not just the Cajuns, but for damn near everybody. It feels like the App State has not lost a game at home in what feels like forever. This is going to be a tough game. That being said, I think the other question that we need to throw out there is how many more votes did the Cajuns get in the polls after this win?
I don't think many, because they'll look at it, they'll say it's a close win over ULM, a 5-win team. And you're at home, you're coming off a 50-point blowout over Troy. We kind of expected you to be better against ULM. We get the in-state rival stuff, but you should have came out. If you want to receive more votes, you should have came out and blew this team a little bit more out. You have a bit more of a dominant performance against ULM, so I don't think many more votes when it comes to that.
Many more votes? I can get behind that, but I think they'll definitely, if they beat App State, I think we're all in agreement that they move up in the top 25.
I mean, you beat a top 25 team and you only have 2 losses on your record, and that's against App State and
Mississippi State.
So really,
who just got bowl eligible, by the way.
There you go. So Cajuns, it's hard to see them kind of in that top 25, but with a win over App State in Boone, that's an argument to be made. Man, I can't wait for the conference championship because the Cajuns have been great on the road. I mean, App State's been great at home. This series is getting closer with each and every game that App State and the Cajuns play. It feels like the Cajuns are almost figuring out what to do to beat App State every single game. They just got to have a complete game, and they've showed that they can have complete games this season. It'll be interesting to see if they can have a complete game in that conference championship next Saturday. It's
going to be a lot of fun to see what happens there, and we'll definitely dive into it on all of our programming over the next week. Appreciate y'all for tuning in.
Yeah.
Just such a great Saturday
Celebrate
night.
tonight.
Celebrate tonight. Celebrate good times. Come on, like what was it, Cool in the Gang, right? Celebration? Oh, yeah, I keep forgetting. You're a little bit young.
Yeah, I was about to say.
But again,
we're showing our ages here.
Well, I'm showing my age. And maybe we'll get the 15 over demographic because I'm just going to end it with this. Just like Bo Derek, the Cajuns are a perfect 10 for 103.7 The Game. I'm Clint Doming. That's Louis Prejean.
Yep.
And we'll talk to you next time.
All right. Pull out the cigars.
Smokes.